Hi everyone, welcome back to the Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Phantom, and today we'll be doing an unboxing of the Transformers the Movie Studio Series 86 Death of Brawn and Ratchet set. This is the second such set that Hasbro and Takara have released, following a double pack of Ironhide and Prowl death scene that was part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee set, although it still falls under the Studio Series 86 line. I already had the Prowl and Ironhide set, which I had already opened previously, so this will be primarily an unboxing of these two figures and then a comparison with the two figures that we've already had released. Now, I do not own the Studio Series 86 Ironhide Ratchet Brawn figures, and I believe this Prowl is just from the War for Cybertron Earthrise line. So, really, we're not far off the mark. Let's get started. So, we have this very nice double pack box. I got this one at Target. We get absolutely atrocious images of the two of them dying. The side has the exact same close-ups of their faces on both sides. And on the back, just a little bit showing the figures. It comes with a display backdrop for a diorama. And then Decepticon Shuttle Ambush. Brawn converts in 23 and Ratchet converts in 25. They give you an example of what the blast effects can do, or where you should put them rather. And then here we have text that just says, big screen inspired scale, detail, and backdrop. Let's reopen some traumatic childhood memories, shall we? All right, so the figures themselves are zip tied to a smaller version of the full backdrop that we see, which is the interior of the Autobot Shuttle from Transformers the Movie. So here we have Brawn, here we have Ratchet. Their blast effects and weapons are all on the back of the board. So we get these wonderfully bent blast effect pieces because they're made out of a rubbery plastic that unfortunately takes on the shape of however it was placed. So if I were to put these under something heavy and flat for a little while, they would probably even out. These must be the weapons for the characters. Yep. Alright, so we have double guns for Ratchet that are identical to the guns that came with the Ironhide figure, which makes sense. Brawn's little pistol. Brawn's spare tire. And the ambulance lights for Ratchet. So these blast effects should look familiar to anyone that owns the Ark or the Nemesis Titan class figures. Both series came with these particular conical blast effects, so you could put them onto the thrusters to simulate takeoff. Very nice for them to have included that. So let's free these figures from their cardboard prison. Ratchet, Brawn. Get rid of this one because we already have the backdrop that came with the figures. Here we have Ratchet, and we have Brawn. Whoop. And as you can see, the Ratchet figure is virtually identical to the Ironhide figure here. The head is separate, obviously, is different, obviously, and the paint deco is different. But he has the exact same blast damage that Ironhide has, with the exact same hole here for the blast effects. Give it a little spin around. Nothing new here. They are exactly the same figure. Their head sculpt is the only thing that's different about them. Ratchet can dual wield as he did. Brawn, I don't even think Brawn got his gun out before he was killed.
Decepticons! Die, Autobots!
He does come with his gun. Both of these figures contain all of the accessories that they came with in their respective original releases. So Brawn does have his little pistol and his little spare tire here. I mean, if they were really going for scene accuracy, Brawn wouldn't have his pistol, because I don't even think he got a shot off. But anyway, that's just being a little too nitpicky in my opinion. So I really like these figures. I think that they're actually really good quality. I mean, I knew that Ratchet would be because I really like the Studio Series 86 Ironhide figure. The only recent Ratchet figure I have is the Walgreens exclusive War for Cybertron Siege Ratchet figure. And I really enjoyed that figure. I think that it's a very nice transformation. This one, I think the proportions are really nice. He looks big and bulky. I think the feet are an excellent way to get rid of a lot of the kibble that otherwise he would have. He has a very clean silhouette and a very clean back with very little sprue pieces or whatnot. I don't know where these are supposed to go. A lot of people have been saying that they don't like the Studio Series 86 Ironhide mold because when you transform it into the van, there's just too much paneling. Yeah, you're not going to get a Masterpiece style, perfectly smooth paneled exterior like you do with the Masterpiece Ironhide figure or the Masterpiece Ratchet figure. But, I mean, for what this is, which is a mass market retail version, it's very good. It scales well with other figures of the line. Do I think that these are worth the price? That's kind of difficult to say. When I picked this one up from Target, this was, I believe, $60. For what you get, it's a little on the steep side. I mean, Ratchet really is not a Voyager class figure. He is really just a deluxe class figure. And Brawn is somewhere between deluxe and core. I mean, very much like Gears. Gears is a deluxe class figure. So this probably would have gone for about $25.99, $24.99. And I don't know if they were asking for Voyager cost for this Ratchet. If so, then that's kind of a ripoff. Voyagers at least are like $40. That seems a little steep for this particular figure. I mean, you're really only looking at maybe $55. So $60 is an okay asking price for the gimmick of these are their dead versions. But I still think that that's a little on the steep side. I mean, I got the Ironhide and Prowl Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series 86 Assault on the Autobot Shuttle set. This is a 2-pack. I got that set for $35, which seems to be a pretty decent cost. I mean, Ironhide, just like Ratchet, is kind of in between Voyager and Deluxe, but Prowl is definitely a Deluxe class figure. I mean, yes, Prowl is really just an Earthrise mold that's decoed and painted to look more like he fits into the Studio Series 86 line. I don't particularly have a problem with it, but I will say that Brawn definitely feels heavier than Prowl. Prowl feels very light, like many Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom figures. I find it difficult to justify Prowl's inclusion as a full deluxe class figure, but I mean, I'm happy I got this at retail. Target frequently does sales, and I think at this point in time, I didn't. It wasn't on sale. I bought this set for full price. But since I had the Ironhide and Prowl set already, I kind of wanted to be complete.
It is the year 2005. The treacherous Decepticons have conquered the Autobots' home planet of Cybertron. But from secret staging grounds on 2 of Cybertron's moons, the valiant Autobots prepare to retake their homeland.
Lore-wise, I believe there is a 3rd moon. We have no idea why it's not mentioned, seen, or dealt with in the movie. All we know is the Autobots occupy Moonbase 1 and Moonbase 2. Also, the location of Cybertron is kind of a strange issue in the G1 cartoon, because it's very clear that Cybertron is in a different galaxy in the very first episode. It more than meets the eye. The Ark and the Nemesis set off from Cybertron looking for a new energy source. When the boarding chute launches and attaches the two ships together, they are in the midst of fighting. Optimus uses emergency maneuvers, crashes the Ark into Mount St. Hilary. The Nemesis goes flying off and lands in the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, I'm going to presume. However, in the Ultimate Doom, they transport Cybertron to Earth orbit, which also shows that Cybertron is a much smaller planet than Earth. Somewhere it's larger than our moon, but it's certainly not as large as the Earth, otherwise it wouldn't be in orbit around the Earth. Now at the end of that, they knock Cybertron out of Earth's orbit by exploding all of the Energon cubes Megatron had collected. Cybertron is catapulted away, the Earth is saved, everything's fine, yay. However, it's very clearly shown in a few other instances in the G1 cartoon that it's perfectly capable to fly from Earth to Cybertron and back. Omega Supreme does it. The Decepticons don't. The Decepticons usually don't. Starscream and the Combaticons do kind of halfway there in the later episodes of Season 2. But Omega Supreme definitely launches from the Earth, goes to Cybertron, and comes back. The Decepticons mostly use the space bridge, which also logically makes absolutely no sense because it eats up so much energon. What if they have the capability of just flying to and from via Astro Train? Why wouldn't they just do that? I would assume that that would be less taxing energy-wise than using the space bridge. But I digress. Cybertron is thrown out of Earth's orbit, but it's probably floating somewhere in our solar system or slightly outside. Certainly not in another galaxy at this point. Certainly not in another solar system. It's clearly very close to Earth. And that's shown several times in G1, that the time it takes to get from Earth to Cybertron and vice versa is fairly short. You need somebody like Omega Supreme, Skylynx, Astrotrain, Scorponok, Fortress Maximus. You need a ship to get from one place to another. Now, in Transformers the movie, it's very clearly shown Optimus orders Ironhide to go to Autobot City on Earth. Earth is a place that the Autobots have fully colonized, so as the Decepticons have taken Cybertron, the Autobots have taken Earth. The issue is, why were there only 4 Autobots on the shuttle making this run? And why did the Autobots not think that the Decepticons had them under surveillance? Why did they think the Decepticons would not see a shuttle blasting off from Moonbase 1? Granted, they could have launched the ship during the orbit of Moonbase 1 when it was facing away from the planet. But we see very little in terms of security on Moonbase 1. Laserbeak just flies right into the factory, lands right in their command center, and records everything that Optimus says. Why wasn't anyone looking? Where was Blaster? Also, Blaster, when he radios the SOS from Autobot City on Earth in the movie, yes, his signal is being boosted, but if Cybertron was not in nearby proximity, that signal never would have reached them. Which leads me to believe that Cybertron is just outside our solar system, probably a little way past the Kuiper belt. Also, why wouldn't Optimus have sent escorts with this shuttle? If they're going to be bringing back Energon from Earth, badly needed Energon, from Earth to Moonbase 1, why wouldn't he have sent Omega Supreme? Why wouldn't the Autobots have just got on Omega Supreme and flown to Earth? That is a pretty damn good defense. If they get attacked in the middle, Omega Supreme just jettisons the Autobots that are inside of him, transforms, and deals with the Decepticons. Everyone gets back in, he transforms back into the rocket and flies back. The issue is, why would all of this happen when they know Decepticons can fly? They know Astrotrain can fly. Presumably, Astrotrain is how the Decepticons ambushed the shuttle. All of the Decepticons were in Astrotrain when they blow the hole in the shuttle and take it over. But it's just like, there is no security. And you can't say, well, there weren't that many Autobots on Moonbase 1. It's like, well, why weren't there? I know this is really just our perspective, but from our perspective as a viewer of Transformers the movie, Moonbase 1 consists of Cliffjumper, Jazz, Ironhide, Optimus Prime, presumably also Brawn and Ratchet, and Prowl, because they get on the shuttle with Ironhide. Moonbase 2 is just Bumblebee and Spike. Really strange. And then all of the Autobots are in Autobot City on Earth. All of them are on Earth. I understand operational security, you would just want to keep as few people as possible on Moonbase 1 and Moonbase 2. It's strongly alluded to that Moonbase 2 is just an observation post. So that kind of makes sense why it's just Bumblebee and Spike. But Moonbase 1, yeah, the factories are automated, but if you have an incursion by Decepticons, there's no way you could fight back. And why would Optimus just stand there with 6 other bots on Moonbase 1? Why have all of their compatriots on Earth? It just doesn't make any sense. But here's the big kicker for me, and it's bothered me ever since I was a child, really, and I watched season 3, which is, where was the EDC? The Earth Defense Command was created prior to 2005. They had 3 outposts that we are aware of. One orbiting Pluto, or on Pluto, or near Pluto. One near Goo, and then the one on Earth. Or rather, in orbit around Earth. We see, in Season 3, Five Faces of Darkness, Galvatron and the Decepticons completely destroy the base around Jupiter when they're on their way back to Earth to destroy the Autobots at the behest of the Quintessons. But where was Jupiter? Where was the Jupiter base and where was the Pluto base when Megatron and the rest of the Decepticons were just gallivanting through the solar system to Earth in the Autobot Shuttle? How come there was no safety precaution? How come there was no password? How come there was no communication at all? And, I mean, yes, logically, the EDC didn't exist until Season 3. And none of this was thought of when the movie was being made. Also, the movie being made is a very strange thing, too, because production and writing began while Season 2 was ongoing, before Season 2 ended. So that's why there's a lot of bots and tech and things that could have been useful in the movie that don't appear because there was no way to put them in. There's a lot of things useful in the second half of Season 2 that would have been useful in the movie that don't appear simply because they couldn't. The script was already written. Animation was already ongoing. They couldn't have included these particular concepts. But it just, it really sticks in my craw how weird Ironhide's mission is. It just doesn't make any sense. And the senseless, traumatic deaths of the 4 Autobots on the shuttle scarred my childhood, and I know scarred many other children's childhoods. I mean, is right up there with the death of Optimus Prime. I mean, the death of Optimus Prime is really traumatic, but nothing as a child was more horrific than Prowl's mouth-melting smoke. When he gets shot in the chest, his eyes turn red and smoke billows out of his mouth, and he falls down burning. And Ratchet gets shot several times in the chest along with Ironhide, but he doesn't survive that. Brawn gets shot once in the shoulder and dies. Really strange. Also, why are the Decepticons so much more powerful than the Autobots at this point? The answer is narrative convenience, but it still kind of bothers me. And I know what you're saying. Maybe the Autobots were low on energy, so they couldn't withstand the firepower of fully energized Decepticons. Question is, where are the Decepticons getting all this energy from? Cybertron has no energy. That's the whole point of the show. Where are the Decepticons getting the energy to run Cybertron? Presumably from other means, but what were those means? Why are they so supercharged?
Who will join me? Who will give up the power to transform, to become stronger, faster, more alive?
The one hit from Bone Crusher. Is it Bone Crusher or Scavenger? One of the two. shoots Brawn in the shoulder and he just falls down dead. It just doesn't make any sense. I understand in a real world sense, they're trying to do away with the 84, 85 line and introduce the 86 line. I understand. But for a series that was fairly well written on the whole, it just seems like a glaring oversight. And yes, you could say it's because, yes, Ron Freeman wrote the script for it, but then it was passed along to several other people for rewrites, and Flint Dille had a hand in it. It's just like, yeah, there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen. And don't get me wrong, I think the movie is fantastic. But these little details bother me, especially in light of what came after. That's it. My rant is over. Alright, so the Ratchet figure is fairly straightforward. You have one of the large blast effects, and then one of the smaller blast effects that you can slip inside, and then one of the laser blast effects. And then you just tuck that into his chest piece. It does not fit very well. And there you go. You have recreated the traumatic explosion in Ratchet's chest from the movie. Oh! Poor Brawn, I mean, all he does is scream, Decepticons! And then gets shot in the shoulder, and then just falls over. Alright, so let's transform these guys. See what their vehicle modes look like. All these joints are very tight. Not a bad thing, I'm just pointing it out. It's been so long, I couldn't remember how to transform. Battle ambulance. Get better, or I'll shoot you. I remember really liking Brawn as a kid. I'm actually impressed. This is a really intricate transformation for a deluxe glass figure. All told, two very nice vehicle modes for these two figures. I'm really impressed with Brawn. Like I said, I don't have the non-death version of Brawn, so I'm really impressed with this figure. Engineering-wise, I think this is an amazing transformation. I mean, I knew how Ratchet transformed because I had Ironhide. Okay, Ironhide needs to have his kind of squatting pose when he is firing both of his weapons. The final thoughts. I would say that this set is definitely worth picking up. I don't think I would buy it for full price. If you don't have either of these figures, this is a great way to get them. I think in particular the Brawn figure is excellent. I really like the engineering of it. He's a little back heavy. He does have problems standing up. But other than that, he looks like a perfect approximation of G1 Brawn, cartoon Brawn. The Ratchet figure, the problems here are the same problems that are at the Ironhide figure. So if you really don't like the Ironhide mold, you don't need to get Ratchet. But considering the fact I didn't have either of the Studio Series 86 van bots, this was a nice way to get both of them. Obviously, if you don't like battle damage, this is not a buy for you. But you know what? I actually really like the Ratchet figure. I really like the Ratchet figure. I like the Ironhide figure. The alt mode issues don't bother me. I think robot mode wise, they're excellent figures. extremely posable. I like their silhouettes. Their silhouettes are very clean. It's probably the best engineering we can get at a retail level. I mean, obviously, when you start going third party, or you start going masterpiece or prestige, then yeah, then you can hide a lot more kibble. You can have a lot more sliding plates. You can have a lot more flat, smooth surfaces. But for what this is, a Ratchet that you can go into a Target and buy, it is excellent. Still really impressed with the Brawn figure. I really want the Gears figure actually now too, and I hope that in Age of the Primes we start seeing more of these updates. I'd love a deluxe class Power Glide, because I think the Cosmos and the Beachcomber are excellent figures. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see a Swerve. I'd love to see an updated Sea Spray. Sea Spray was always one of my favorite characters, along with Cosmos, in terms of mini-bots. I know that there's an exclusive Gold Bug, who was also one of my favorite characters growing up. But yeah, we haven't had a Wind Charger in a while. Huffer and Pipes came out in Kingdom and Earthrise, respectively. So, and those molds are fine. Those are excellent figures. Studio Series 86, the Assault on the Autobot Shuttle. I'm sure we're going to get a 2-pack, or Takara is going to be making a 2-pack, much like their other Deadly Pursuit exclusive multi-packs, I should say. Is this worth your money? Probably not full price. If you don't have these molds, pick it up. It's the easiest way to get them. The 3 Targets that I frequent had a lot of these in stock. They're probably going to get discounted soon. And I mean, Target usually has like a spend $60, get $10 off, or 20% off a single item kind of coupons. So if you see them, pick them up. They're definitely worth the money. And I really like the fact that everything really scales so well with... Out of the way, Brawn! I do like the fact that everything scales so well. So yeah, these are definitely worth your time and money. I'm still holding out hope for an actual Studio Series 86 Prowl, though. I mean, this Prowl is certainly good, but he is not as heavy as any of the other figures. He's a very lightweight figure. His legs are very finicky. Yeah, he looks marginally model accurate to the cartoon, but something about his design sticks in my craw a little bit. I'm not a particular fan of it. But, what are you going to do? So thank you very much for joining me today on The Shelves Have Eyes for this latest Transformers review and unboxing. I'll be doing more of these. I just got so wrapped up in the Miniverse before, so I will be returning to more of a balance with Transformers reviews and just general toy discussion. I will be including a lot more lore now in my videos, because especially when we get to things like Victory Starsaber and Deathsaurus and Omega Prime, the HasLab projects, which I will eventually do unboxings for, a lot of people are just not overly familiar with those characters and their lore. So I'll be going a little bit more in depth there. I mean, obviously, if you want to know everything about them, go to Chris McFeely's The Basics On videos. That pretty much gives you everything you need about any of these characters. And he has an excellent video on the making of the 86 movie. There's a lot of deleted concepts and he goes into how the script went through so many rewrites and so much was lost. So, I mean, hey, that could be an answer for all the questions I brought up. Like, maybe they were addressed in a previous draft, but when somebody else came in and rewrote it, that all just went to the wayside. But in any case, thank you very much for spending this time with me and my toys. If you enjoy this content, please think about liking and subscribing to the channel so you know when the next one drops. I've been Phantom. This has been The Shelves Have Eyes. Have a good night, y'all.